I'll tell you what, Colts Nation, this right here with Jonathan Taylor may have ended up being a blessing in disguise. And no, I'm not delusional, okay? I'm not taking part in revisionist history. I'm not here to tell you that the way things have transpired up to this point with Jonathan Taylor have been okay, good, functional, decent. I mean, I don't know what words I'm supposed to describe it with. It hasn't been good, okay? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this was all sunshines and rainbows this entire time. But ultimately, as we sit here going into week 5, what the hell does it even matter that he missed the time? And I can argue that our offense is actually going to be better now, having dealt without Jonathan Taylor. That controversy, that challenge may have strengthened this team to some degree. And I'm starting to think that this might be one of the best rushing attacks in football. And I know some people are like, Justin, keep your eye on the ball. This is a rebuilding season. Stay realistic, all right? Let me tell you right now, the number one, as you say the word realistic, do you know the definition of what realistic is? Hold on, let me pull it up on my phone real fast. All right. Realistic, as per Google, 1, having or showing a sensible and practical idea of what can be achieved or expected. 2, representing familiar things in a way that is accurate or true to life. Well, I'll tell you what is accurate, and I'll tell you what can be achieved. I'll tell you what is realistic. The fact that the entire AFC South is 2-2, and the Colts have a chance at really making a run here, at least towards the playoffs. This thing is wide freaking open. So until it's not, don't tell me I'm being unrealistic by actually having a standard and an expectation for this team, particularly if you're one of the people that is also getting on Chris Ballard for the fact where you got to win. You got to win now. All of a sudden, we're in the season, and we're looking like a team that can make some noise, and you're saying, stay realistic. Not for anything. Get the heck out of here. And side note, for some of you getting upset about JT today, or rather yesterday, in that press conference, saying really nothing at all, juking out defenders, or really juking out questions like they were Titans defenders. I mean, he was in midseason form with the way he was dodging those questions, huh? What else did you want him to do? Did you want him to say, no, I don't want to be a Colt. I would like to be traded. Chris Ballard pisses me off. Jim Irsay pisses me off even more. I mean, what exactly did you want JT to say other than that? Listen, he took a route. He did exactly what Shane Steichen would do and has been doing and has set the tone of. He said absolutely nothing whatsoever. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, how this was a blessing in disguise. That is the title of the video. I'm going to try to make the case because, again, as I said, I think the Colts ended up better off for dealing with this as opposed to have not dealing with this. So let's get into it. But before we do, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Justin. This right here is the Riding the Bench Colts cast. As always, if you are enjoying it, go ahead, shoot it a like. You can subscribe if you'd like. And if you're returning and you're here for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th time and you have not subscribed yet, you are the one that I'm looking at. I mean, what are we waiting for here? If you're enjoying the content, go ahead, follow me for the journey. I mean, you're already here. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. If you could help me in that, I'd be incredibly grateful. But most importantly, just enjoy the video. And I'll tell you, let's get back into it, back on topic. My number one reason that this was a big deal is because I do not believe we would have seen the emergence of Zack Moss without Jonathan Taylor being out. I don't think that the Colts had it in their plans to turn this thing into a nice, even split. But Zack Moss, and again, I was surprised with how good Zack Moss was last year. But this year, he actually has shades of prime Le'Veon Bell. I mean, his patience in between the tackles, his ability to be slippery in and out of the, I don't even know what the heck I'm saying. Zack Moss has been very, very good this year, and it's nice to see the possibility of this three-headed monster in Anthony Richardson, Zack Moss, and now Jonathan Taylor as he works back into things. Keep in mind, this is an offense that was expected to do nothing People thought the line was washed on some level, washed or underperformed. Whatever they thought about the offensive line, people were not expecting it to perform well. Quite frankly, I don't know why. I mean, I guess it wasn't great last year at all. But at the same time, you look at the pieces on the board, you look at the brain in Shane Steichen and what he's been able to accomplish everywhere he's been, and you say this line has to at least perform above average, and they have done that and then some, if you ask me. The receivers, everyone said we didn't have them. And listen, they're not blowing out the world right now. They're not, exploding, flourishing, looking like one of the best units in football, but that's not really the point. They have gotten the job done for the most part. Michael Pittman Jr., dog. Josh Downs, dog. Alec Pierce, figuring it out. I mean, no disrespect to Alec Pierce, but let's see him step up at the wide receiver 2 spot a little bit. That's neither here nor there. The point of the episode isn't about Alec Pierce, right? Let's stay positive here. So this is an offense that people expected nothing out of, but meanwhile, they're averaging 115 rushing yards per game, give or take. That's I'm rounding to some degree. And almost 25 points a game. I believe 24.6 off the top of my head. Someone fact check me, okay? So if you could do that, you're going to win football games, particularly with a defense like that. And again, this was without Jonathan Taylor. Need I not remind you, of course, but I'm getting excited about the possibility of what this offense can be. I mean, coming into the season, I looked at it and I said, there is a lot of upside here. Mostly because when I went to training camp, I saw Anthony Richardson and said, oh my goodness, the Colts are keeping a secret over here. This kid can really go. And obviously he's exceeded expectations tenfold. So this offense right now has a lot of potential, and this is just what the doctor ordered going into Tennessee, a team that off memory, I suppose I would have to look into the record recently, doesn't feel like we've done a great job versus Tennessee lately. I feel like every time I watch the Colts versus Tennessee, it doesn't really go our way. But, that's neither here nor there. I might be biased, and I didn't actually look into that beforehand, so I don't know the record prior because who remembers that type of thing, right? And it's all about what's going on right now. And right now, the Colts have a chance to take this division by storm. And not for anything, energy is a real thing. Momentum, these are not just buzzwords. These are real. I mean, have you ever, I don't know, do you go to the gym? When you first started going to the gym, it felt like a huge task at first. I mean, every day going was so difficult. And then after 2 weeks, as you built some momentum, all of a sudden it just became part of it. And it was just contagious. I mean, I know when I'm going to the gym consistently, it's not just about the gym. I become more productive in all aspects because it turns into a productivity thing. Now, that's not a one-to-one comparison with football, but my point is that you have a team in the Colts that is overachieved, maybe even by their own standards. I don't know. But you can feel the energy around this team. You can feel the fact that they believe in themselves. And the fact that Jonathan Taylor is back and coming into this lineup, they have to feel even more energized. Goodness gracious. I mean, this is just my gut, but I feel really, really good about where things are with the Indianapolis Colts right now and this offense. And we're going to see how Jonathan Taylor does. I believe the three-headed monster of him, Zack Moss, and Anthony Richardson has potential to end up turning into the best rushing attack in football this year. And if the Colts could play defense like that, how they've been playing it, and run the ball even better than they already are, because mind you, 114 yards a game includes week 1, which was absolutely horrific. So am I alone? I don't know. I mean, that's the whole episode. I don't want to sit here and rant about nothing forever. Am I alone in being very, very excited about this offense? Again, being realistic, right? I'm not talking about a Super Bowl. I'm saying that the team is averaging 24 points per game, over 110 yards per game on the ground, is 2-2, beat the Texans, which at the time felt like nothing. All of a sudden, the Texans kind of feel alive. And here we are. I'm kidding. Beating the Texans is nothing to write home about, I guess. But my point is that I don't know. I just feel good, and I can't tell if I'm blinded by my bias and my love of the Indianapolis Colts. I've got no clue, but at the same time, fuck it. No, I don't think I'm blinded by it, and I think the Colts are going to be good, and I think the Colts are going to make the wild card this year. I said it. I'm putting my stamp down. I'm guaranteeing the Colts make the wild card this year. Did I just jinx it? Perhaps. You'll have to find out as the season goes on. And of course, you really want to know how that progresses? You could subscribe. You could like the video. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. I mean, that was just me making an excuse to ask you to do things for me. But I'm going to end the episode right here because I feel like I'm rambling, but this is just one I wanted to make because I feel like I had to say something about Jonathan Taylor, and I just wanted to give my feelings about where I'm at because, I told myself I wasn't going to get caught. I mean, I was the one in the preseason. I was saying, hey, let's keep things reasonable. The expectation must be clear. But now as we get into the season, I'm looking at what's in front of me, and I can't deny it. So until next time, my name is Justin. This right here was the Ride the Bench Colts cast. Oh, go Colts.